So this is what we are going to be looking at. These are some of the functions that we're going to do. Some of them are very simple. We could just flow through them and all of this. Once we are able to understand some of this function, and then we could make progress into more advanced stuff. But for now, so I'm going to take it. I'm doing this because I'm just trying to think, okay, they may have forgotten a few things. So let's talk about the basic math and aggregation. So how does it work? We're looking at sum, average, round, mean, and absolute. So basically in Excel, if I have set of numbers like I do have now, we said during our discourse in the first lesson, I mentioned that we have what we call the assumption. So this could be our assumptions. This then could be our input, and then which is basically the value, and then this could be our calculation, or we call it the formula, or let me just use calculation. That's the part you will always see. But it could get complex. You could have more than one assumption, more than one input, more than one calculation. So if I do say here I have Apple, or let's say it's phone now, iPhone, and here I have Techno, here I have itel, and say here I have Samsung, and my input, that's the value they're going to get, say 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, and maybe 60,000. These are basically my inputs. So you see my assumptions, and then you see my inputs, and then you see my calculation or my formula. Those are the three core components of a model. Now, my iPhone, I could do like basically we're looking at some of these functions, we're looking at sum and all of this. So we could work that out here by doing, if I want to add all of this together, I could do. Remember, in Excel, you start with your equal to, so I could do a sum of here down to here, and I hit my enter, so I get my value. That's basically how sum work. Okay. You could also do something like sum 10,5. You supply value, and it gives you 15. So some could also work like that. Again, some could be sum, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I selected all of them. That is from C3 to C6. I get my value. I could also do average. Here is average here. And I could say average of this to this. That means this plus this plus this plus this divided by 4. That gives me this value. That's my average. And say I have a negative value, -1. I could convert it to a positive value by doing ABS, absolute value of this. I'm going to get 1. So it's going to strip off the minus from it. And then don't also forget the idea of data types. Data types. Here are the data types in Excel. General, number, currency, accounting. Most of our work is going to be centered around accounting. Accounting. So what's the idea of accounting? Let's assume I have more inputs. Say this input is called cost and this is called quantity. And then let's say I have 1 here, 2, and then I have 0 here, and I have 1 here, or let's say 10 here. I could simply do my calculation by saying this multiply by this. Notice I did not need to type out C3 times D3. I basically just clicked on this column and then did the times and clicked on the other column D3, and I got this. I can get this now. Now, again, you must also not forget copy formula. Don't drag down like this. That's not a good method. What you do is just to identify this little squirky box here and double click it. That should apply it across. Even though you have thousands of rows, you should still apply it across. Please don't
Yes, sir.
drag down. Dragging down is an old method. And if you have 6,000, 10,000 rows, dragging down can be stressful. Just double click
Very.
this guy and you get this. All right. But then notice that this gives me 0. And one of the rules we've learned in accounting is basically that 0 is not a true figure. Because if you say 0 is the value, somebody else can quickly come and add 1 at the back, and then 0 something becomes 10. So that's why in accounting, we don't leave it at 0. So what we do now is to convert this to accounting, right? So how do we do that? We go straight here and we click on accounting. So notice that the moment it changes, the data type changes to dash, to accounting, this value changed to dash. That's how best accounting methods will represent it instead of just zero. But of course, we know that 50,000 times zero is zero, but according to accounting terms, it will be better be called a dash. So that's what accounting does. And for those of you who are saying, okay, how do I use the Naira sign? I've seen a few people doing NGN. NGN is not our currency. So you go to accounting format and go to more accounting format and then go to this place and scroll down, look for Edo, I've passed it actually, it's not too far. You'll see Edo here and you'll be able to get our currency. So this is our
Oh
currency.
wow.
Because yeah, you can also try out a few other things other than Edo. You could try out Fulani. But the thing with Fulani is that it starts from the left to the right. So what happens here is that your Naira sign goes at the back, and which is not a convention in Nigeria. So let's stick to Edo. Edo and Yoruba, I think, works very fine. Edo, Yoruba, and Igbo works very fine. So this is our currency. So that's one side knowledge. Again, let me check again. We have other things we also need to know here. We have the round, the mean, and the max. Okay. So I may also want to know the highest value here, and then I would use a max for that. MAX, and then I will say MAX from here to here. I hit my enter, I'm getting 600,000, which is this as the maximum value. The maximum value in analysis, if we were doing analysis now, could have been called the most sold item, right? Or the highest earning item in terms of the maximum value. The maximum value is also what we call mode in financial analysis. That's the mode. Okay. Now, mode could be the best performing product. So I have donuts. Okay, fine. We're not doing financial analysis anyway. So basically, you get this value, and I could also do my mean from here down to here, and I hit my enter and I get a dash, which is this as the lowest value here. Then sometimes you could get fraction 2.3456. That's a value. I could round it up. I say round this value, comma, to two decimal places, and I hit my enter, so I'll get 2.36. Just round it to two decimal places. That's easy as that. Okay. You can round up your value to two decimal places. And that's what the round does basically. And you can also use these to round up your number here to round up your numbers. But basically what this does is that it just strip off the numbers at the back and reduces the value. Again, for the sake of this course, you should also have an idea of how to sort. I could do a sort out to Z, and you find out that itel, Samsung, and Tecno have been sorted accordingly. And of course, even the prices have been sorted also. And then sometimes you want to give this a name, and maybe I call it Intro to Financial Modeling. Intro to Financial Modeling. So I can select all of these and do a merge and center. Okay, I would prefer I select all of the column to here and then go to this place and do a merge and center. So you see it's just in the middle, and I could do a bold. And if you understand how Excel work, you notice that unlike your Microsoft Word where you have uppercase, you do not have uppercase in Excel, or lowercase. You do not have any of these cases in Excel. So if you wanted to change something to an uppercase, you could use a function called upper and then put a text in it and hit your enter key. So you have upper, and I can double click here to apply it across for others too. And once it's done like this, I can do a Control C to copy, right click, and then click on paste as value. Then I can drag this back on top of this, and then I'll replace all of them with an uppercase. Okay, so that process was a bit fast. Some of you probably didn't get it. So now, this is basically still having a formula. Look at it, said upper B3, upper B4, upper B5, and upper BC. So what it means is that if I make any attempt to copy this from here and move it, if I try to move this to this place, it's not going to work because This guy is basically, see, saying ref error because this guy is depending on this guy for what it has. If I delete this, this goes out. Okay, so what I did was to do a copy, Control C, and then right click and did a paste. That means now it's no longer having a function or a formula. Look at it. It's just a text. Then I had to highlight all of it, move this guy down to this place, and then drop it there. So that's how you convert your text to uppercase or lowercase, as the case would be. And so that's the basic financials. I'm going to call this one um, basic mathematics. On the first cell, then I'm going to open another cell. And on this other cell, we are going to look at things around logic and decision making. Okay, so I'll just name it logic and decision. So let's say I have scores. In this case, uh, let's say I have subjects or courses. This is my assumption. This is my value. So CS 201, CS 202, CS 302, and this guy had 45 here, had 60, and had let's see 90, and maybe I also have CX 402, and then here he has 35. Now the rule is that if it's less than 40, it's going to be an F. So let me call this remark. So I could use an if statement. I'll do equal to if I hit my tab so that I'll have my opening. Now, of course, when you type if, you notice that there's an if. Yes, I'm going to select it. Then I'm going to say if this particular value is greater than 39, because we had said that if the value is from 40 and above, it should be passed. If it's below 40, it should be failed. So I'm saying if C3 is greater than 39, let it be called passed. Otherwise, if it's not, let it be failed. So if C3 is greater than 39, let it be passed. Otherwise, it should be called failed. Notice that my failed are all in quotes because they are text. My failed and my pass are all in quotes because they are text. And so if I hit my enter, it's a passed here, and then I apply the formula across. So I have one that is failed here. That is the simplest if statement you can do, basically checking for conditions and theories. Now, why is that important? Because sometimes in your model, you may want to represent 1, 0, 1, 0. You might want to represent 1 with may, or 1 with good, 0 with bad. So I could do something like this and say if this particular value is equal to 1, let it be called good, or let it be called healthy, or let it be called uh not expired. Okay, not expired. Otherwise, let it be called expired. Okay, so here I have not expired because it's 1, and then I could apply this across all through. So I have expired and I have expired because they are 0. So we could do this really well in our financial modeling by setting these values. So understanding the if statement is very important. But of course, we have complex ifs that make use of and all of that. We'll talk about that some other time so that you won't get overwhelmed with the information. So that's how the if works. It checks to see if a value is true. Look at it. If this is true, give me this. If whatever condition that we have here is true, give me this. If it is false, give me this guy. Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's about the if, and then we have something called if error. So sometimes when you do an if, you might want to wrap it around an if error. As a matter of fact, not just an if. When you write functions and you presume that there'll be errors, you can wrap it around if error. Let me give you an example. So I have, say this is 4, this is 2, this is 1, and this is 10. Again, you can insert new columns by clicking on the header and clicking on insert. When you insert new columns, it is inserted to the left. When you insert new column, it's inserted to the left. When you insert new rows, it's inserted to the top. You see the top? Fine. Again, you can do your numbering by going to 1, 2, and then once you have done your numbering, select the two of them and then double click here. You should do your numbering to any length. And this is also very important. Most students do not use this thing. If I have 1, 2, and I was able to do all my numbering from 2 to 4, I'm going to click here. It does it from 2 to 8. But then if I had 1, 3, and then I select this, it's going to give me numbering in odd numbers. So it's going to be 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, because it's following a certain pattern that you have set. Okay. So let's say I have this and I want to do a simple division. It's going to be this value divide by this value, and I get 11.25. And I apply this across. Notice I have division by 0, division by 0, division by 0. And the reason is because you see this guy doesn't have any value and it's going to be like 0 here. Okay. Or just in case you really want to understand this, let me turn this value to 0. Now, you cannot divide a value by 0. Now, in decimal, we all know that 90 divided by 0 is going to be 90. But as far as software like Excel and so many other programming languages are concerned, you do not do that. Even on a calculator, if you try to do a number divided by 0, you get things like math error. So because I know something like this might happen amongst many other errors, I could do equal to, and then I'll do if there is an error with my this divide by this. If there's an error, just give me, let's say, retain this value back. So what I'm saying is that if there's an error when this divide by this happens, comma, give me C3. C3 is the value that is in this column. So if I hit my enter, I get this. And now when I do this, here is supposed to be an error. But because I said if there's an error, return this value. Now I'm having this value coming back. Sometimes it might not necessarily be that. I could say if there is an error when this is divided by this, give me not applicable. So fine, if I run my stuff, so here it says not applicable because this divided by this was supposed to give us an error, so it says not applicable. So that's how if error works. If error helps you to silence your error or replace your error with something a bit more pleasant instead of having just some set of errors, all right? And then we have and, wow, and then we have or, and then we have not. Your not is basically going to turn something to the other side, right? When you said not this, it could turn it to this. We already do use that in financial modeling. And then your and, I was trying to avoid that and, guys. So, but finally, it's part of what we need to learn now. So let's talk about and. And can get really complicated. Let me give some more spaces so that we just do one simple and. And I'm assuming these are things you guys ought to have done before you registered for this course. So I'm assuming you guys already know it. So I'm going to do something like, of course, just before this, you understand that the rule of and is that it will be true if both are true. It will be false if both are false. It will only be true if both are true. If one is true, it is not true. But in the case of or, if one is true, then it is true. Let me give you a good example. Go outside there, look for a lady that is dark or tall. Call her for me. So it means if you see the one that is tall, call. If you see the one that is dark, call. But when you say go out there, look for a lady that is tall and dark, call her. It means that she would possess these two traits. She will be tall and she will also be dark. That's what the and says. The and says that the two conditions or the three conditions or the four conditions as the case would be will be valid for it to be true. So I could do something like if, right? And let's say, and I'm looking for a good example to test. Okay. Let's do this. Let's say, well, I never wanted to do this. Okay. Let's do if this value is equals to, or this value. Okay, here's what I want to do. Let's do A B, C. Let's just do A, B, C. And we are saying that A is if the value is between 70 to 100, and then B is if it's between 60 to 69, and C is if it's between 50 to 59. So let's just do this. Let's just do this. So let's make this 50 so that we don't have any error there. So I'm going to do if this value is greater than 69, give me A. If this value is greater than 69, because here we said A is 70 to 100. So if it's greater than 69, give me A. Otherwise, I will now say if this value is now I'm want to do for this, so you have to be greater than 59, but less than 70. So if it is greater than 59, right? If it's greater than 59, or let's do if and this value is greater than 59, or this value is less than 70, I'd like you to give me a B. And it's complicated, but you guys must have done this. I'm just showing you something. So I'm going to do if again, this and this value is greater than 49, and this same value is less than 60, give me a C. Otherwise, just give me a D. Okay, we have too many odds, too many covering. Okay, so let's look at our formula. If C is greater than this, A, if and, so this and is here, and this if. Okay, so we still have some that are open. One, okay. Is that correct now? I'm not sure. Guys, can you see what I'm doing now? Uh-oh, sorry. Oh God. If a logical test, let's say if the value, this value is greater than 69, give me an A. That's one. Otherwise, it would have given me a B. So let's do it gradually. So if it's greater than 69, give me an A. Otherwise, give me a B. So it did give me a B. But this otherwise now, I'm going to change it to say if, and then I will say and, this value is greater than 59, and this value again is less than 70. Okay, if that is the case, I would like you to give me a B, right? Now notice what I did. This and from here to here is for the and rule. My if still continues, so I'll put a comma here and say also, finally, I'll do my last if. Wow. And this value is greater than 49, and this value is less than 60, right? So now I'm going to do that. If that's the case, I like to get, I've missed some of my distance anyway, C, otherwise give me a D. So let's see the one we missed. This if started here, this and started here and ended here. Okay, I think we need like two more at the back. All right, so it worked. So this is giving us D, and all of this will work out as applicable. So this is B, this is A. So guys, I just did a quick run through these things, like, because I assume that you guys already have an idea of how these things work. Is there anybody who doesn't understand how the AND function works? Hello, guys.
Understand though? It's like you are doing magic.
Okay, so Miss Amaka, is it clear?
It's not very clear, sir.
But I thought you said you done Excel before.
Yes, but I think this part is too much and a bit confusing.
Nobody will take me
Sir
back to
Famous,
Excel.
you did magic there. Oh.
Okay, guys, you want to take me back to Excel? I thought the idea was we are done with Excel. We want to do financial modeling. Mm,
Yes, but adding up to like 3 to 4 ants, I don't think I've tried that before.
okay, no worry. So just if you can take a snapshot of what I just, you can try it at home on your own. And if it doesn't work, we'll look at it next time. But like I mentioned before, this is something you ought to have done. So you might not even use this oftentimes in your modeling, but once in a while, when you have complex model, you might need to use something like this. So we have less than 7 minutes to wrap up this section. So here's how it works. Again, understand this. I'm going to open my notepad and show you something. Um, First of all, I did if, and then I said and I said something like B3 is greater than 49. Anytime you want to do a range from something to something, use an and. Anytime you want to check condition between two things,
Okay.
you use an and. So here I'm saying if B3 is greater than 49 or B3 is less than 60, for instance, if it's greater than 49, it means that it will start from 49.1 upward, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what it means. Or 49.0001 upward. That is at least greater than 49. So we are just believing that marks are added in one, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure anybody will get 49.1. They will have to round it up eventually. So let's assume, based on that assumption, if B3 is greater than 49 and that same B3 is less than 60, that means B3 is from 50 to 59 because it's less than 60. Does that make any sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, remember for if is like if A1 is equals to 20, give me yes, right? Otherwise, give me a no, right? This is how you write your if statement. You guys still remember this?
Yes, sir.
So this part of it is the condition you are testing. This is the value if true, and this is the value if no. If this is not true, it will give you this. If this is true, it will give you this. So instead of me to just go straight like this particular one, I am converting it to an and. So I said, and if the particular value B3 is greater than 49 and this, so at the end here, all of this from here to here is this condition, similar to this condition of A1 equals 20. All of this from here to here is like a test condition. So I will now say, comma, now I want to do these two. And I say comma and say, okay, let it be called a B, comma, and then the other one will be called a C. But instead of me to do a C, I did another if statement, another and then put something similar to this here, and then close it. Now did a C, and I was supposed to now do a D here. But instead of me to do a D, I did another if. So that's basically what I'm doing here.
Repeat it again. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I repeat that process again. So that's exactly what I did here. So guys, I guess you understand it, and it's really simple.
Now clear.
Okay, thank you. So we have the or condition. The or condition is basically used to check whether any of the arguments are true and returns true or false. So just like I used the or, the what's it called, the and, I could use my or. But the problem with the or sorry, the way the or works is that the two values must be true. Any of them could be true for it to be true.